here. Welcome back to my garden and welcome to the June back garden tour. Now, if you all notice that the videoing is a little bit off in this video, there's a reason why. And that is because someone named Robert is having...
No, we're leaving that and you're going. Keep going.
If you notice that the videoing is a little bit rough in today's video, that is because my friend Robbie is here today visiting me. He's visiting my garden and he is filming me while I'm giving a back garden tour.
You really are the best friend.
Let's get started. Okay, all seriousness, Robbie's here. He is hanging out. You have a big day tomorrow in the Bay Area, right? I
have a very big day.
He has a big day. He's got some really great garden tours coming up next week, so make sure you follow him for that. I'm super, super jealous of the gardens that he gets to go to, but that's okay. Let's look at my back garden today.
Let's check out your garden today.
Okay, so every month I do a front garden tour and a back garden tour. And this is June. This is when our gardens are like really in full swing. Everything's starting to grow, everything's starting to bloom, and it's looking like all the hard work that we've put in earlier in the season is coming to fruition now. So my back garden is still, I still consider it a work in progress, but I really do think that I've come a lot further this year than I thought. So let's get started with the raised beds back here. Honestly, they're no-till beds. They're not really raised beds. If you look inside, videographer, if you want to film inside.
Yeah, I got it. I think I know what I'm doing.
You'll see that I haven't filled these beds all the way up to the top. And the reason why I haven't filled them all the way up to the top is because they're not raised beds. They're no-till beds, and my goal is to get the blooms and the roots to go down into the ground. And by putting a couple inches of compost on top of the ground, it's trying to get the roots down into the ground, which is exactly what I want. I want them to grow in the native soil. So the metal is just kind of holding that couple inches of compost in, and it's working really well. These plants are super happy. They're doing great. Let me show you these dahlias over here. These are dahlias I grew from seed.
You grew these from seed?
Yeah. Are you jealous? These are these
So
are the
good.
floret dahlias. The Bee's Choice. Isn't that pretty?
That is so pretty.
That's my first bloom. Actually, I have one more dahlia bloom in the front yard. I'll show you, Robbie, after this. So this is my dahlia bed. I think it's looking really good. I have a couple more over there. Behind me, I just sowed some zinnias, a whole bunch of mixed zinnias, and they're coming up really well. I mean, I just did this a couple days ago, and I already have a bunch of seedlings coming up. I have no idea which ones they are because I mixed all the seeds together, which I think makes it fun, you know? So it should be fun. I should have a whole bunch of zinnias kind of spilling all over with the dahlias. Over here, I have a lot of people ask me what these are. These are campanula. These are the Champion series from Johnny's. They're done. These are cool season annuals. It's obviously way too hot for them. They're scorching on the edges, but these are just so beautiful. These are just so beautiful. So I got these seeds from Johnny's. So if you guys want some cool season flowers that really perform so well, these campanulas, I mean, I don't know if you've noticed, but I haven't cut a single one of them because they're just so beautiful. It's so beautiful in the ground. And then I have my new look Dusty Miller with some weeds growing in it.
This is my favorite Dusty Miller in the whole wide world.
Okay, cut this part out.
What part out?
Hold on.
We prepared really well for this garden tour, huh?
Okay, I have some new look Dusty Miller. This is so beautiful. It's a perennial for us. It really stays evergreen for us. It's just so gorgeous. And then you can just go in and you can just pop it off like that and use that as foliage in your bouquets. And Robbie did a wreath out of these. Did you dry it first or did you?
Nope, I dried it on the wreath form.
On the wreath?
And it looks the exact same color.
That's beautiful. I did that last year for Halloween and I put like a little spider on it and everything. It was really cute. But I dried them separately.
First.
Yeah.
Did you know that they root really easy too?
No.
Yeah. So if you want more, just throw some in some water.
I do want more.
Try sticking it into the soil. I don't know. We'll see what happens.
I love them. Okay, here's another bed of zinnias.
Well,
Then
should we talk about this giant wall of hibiscus that we're just walking
Oh,
past?
sure. Yeah. This is Summerific Hibiscus from Proven Winners. This is the ballet slippers variety. And my mom and I are obsessed with the ballet slippers variety. It's this beautiful, like light pink with darker pink edges and a red eye. And they're 7-inch blooms, you guys. 7-inch blooms. They're absolutely huge. So I asked Proven Winners to send me 2 of these. And they ended up sending me a box of 25 bare roots. I was like, what?
That is a lot.
First I got a box of 25 plant tags, and I was like, oh, I think you guys sent me the wrong thing. You know, I was supposed to get 2 of the ballet slippers hibiscus, and you sent me 25 plant tags. And they were like, oh no, you have 25 coming. And I was like, what? So thank you, Proven Winners. They're amazing. So I planted them all up, and I've been growing them. And they bloom a little bit later in the season, so they should just start blooming pretty quickly. They should start blooming. So I planted them all in a hedge, and they're all going to grow together, and it's just going to be beautiful. It's just going to be so beautiful and really dramatic when they do bloom. The only drawback to this is that they are deciduous. You do need to cut them back. You need to wait till about February to cut them back, and then you cut them back all the way down to the ground, and then they'll come up. So I'm not gonna have year-round color here on this fence, but I think I'm gonna plant something else in between them to have some year-round color. I haven't really thought of it yet. So back here, these are some veggie beds that I have. I have a zucchini, which my family and I really like zucchini, so I'm actually really excited about this plant. We have a cucumber, which I'm a little nervous about because here where we live, it gets so hot that cucumber isn't really too happy with us. So a lot of people will recommend growing cucumber in the shade, actually, which I think is crazy. I have never tried it before, but I would like to try it. So we'll see how this guy does. Last year when I grew cucumber, it was kind of unhappy, and I think it just got too much sun. The monster's coming, just so you know. Just be aware. Hello, monster. Oh, what is it? Oh, the goats. He has to say hi to the goats. Then if you come down this way, you'll see that I have a tomato, and I've completely forgotten what this tomato is. Sun Gold. It's the Sun Gold one, which is kind of like a yellow tomato. It's delicious.
It's really good.
It's so good, and it's one of the easiest to grow.
Yeah.
So if you guys are newbie veggie gardeners like I am, this is a really good one. One thing I do want to point out, though, if you come close, if you can see all these little curlicue things, all of these are poppy seed pods. And they've all exploded and spread their seeds everywhere, and you can see how many of them there are. So you can imagine how many poppies I'm going to have next year. So I'm not too upset about this because I think it'll be really fun to have poppies growing everywhere. Sorry, Monty. He does that. Monty, what are you doing? But I just think it's so funny to see all these poppy seed pods, and I'm like, all right, well, I'm either going to be weeding a lot or I'm going to have a lot of poppies. And
it's a really good weed to have in the garden.
It's a good weed to have in the garden. That's a good way to put it, Robbie. Okay, I have another tomato over here, which I forgot again what the name is. Oh, this is the jelly bean. I got that on purpose because who doesn't want to eat jelly bean tomatoes, right?
Perfect.
And then I have basil and I have a sweet pepper right there. And then I have an empty spot right here that I am planning to plant a winter squash, butternut squash. And did you know winter squash is actually grown in the summer? Did you know that?
Yeah, it's because it stores all winter.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Did you think that they were grown in the winter?
I thought that cool season, warm season.
No.
I thought like summer
It's
squash.
very deceptive, and that's the hard part about being a new gardener also. Some things make no sense.
It just made no sense, and I don't think I ever thought of it before. But then when she was like, yeah, winter squash, you actually grow it in the summer, I was like, oh yeah, I guess that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And I just didn't connect until that day. So I'm growing winter squash, butternut squash right there, and I think it'll be really exciting because my family and I like butternut squash. Okay, we have one more bed I want to show you. First of all, I am super proud about this plant. This is called Orlea, and last year I had so much trouble growing Orlea. It would literally just, all of a sudden, one of the plants would just yellow and die. It would just die, and I had no idea what was wrong with it. And then this year, the same thing started happening to my Orlea, and it was like, okay, well, I obviously don't know how to grow this plant. I'm just going to kind of give up on it. And I stopped watering it. Somebody told me that maybe I was giving it too much water, and I just did nothing to it. I just stopped touching it. And this is what happened. So I think this is a perfect example that sometimes we can over garden, sometimes we can over care for our plants, and sometimes plants just don't want that. So if you can't get a plant to do well for you, it might be a plant that you just need to kind of back off and just let do its thing. And so seeing this is just a really good reminder that, like, we can't control everything, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. So that's my Orlea. I have this Dark Knight or Black Knight.
They're both the same. Scabiosa, yeah.
It's the dark Scabiosa. I copied Robbie on this one.
It's literally my favorite.
I know it is, and it's beautiful.
And the seed heads are actually really, really pretty in flower arrangements. It's a very, like, unique texture.
I think you've given me an arrangement with seed heads.
I'm sure I have.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. And then I have Rudbeckia. Rudbeckia right here, which I love as well.
I love Rudbeckia.
Love it.
I just planted some Echinacea.
Oh.
It's a cross between Rudbeckia, Echinacea?
Or Echinacea, yeah.
Yeah.
Did you see my Rudbeckia in the front yard?
No.
They're beautiful, and that's another plant that Jason and I, we just didn't water it.
and they're happy.
And they're beautiful, and they're beautiful.
Like this one, the blooms on it are insane.
I know. This is called Gloriosa double something. Gloriosa double Rudbeckia. It's beautiful.
It's so pretty.
And it's going to bloom all season long.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
well, there's still more down there. I see them.
Yes.
I see more buds coming.
And then this is Prairie Sun Rudbeckia, which is a little bit later. Oh, you can see those right there.
These ones are really pretty too.
They're really light for Rudbeckia.
These ones look like more like sunflower.
Yeah. Not pretty. And then this one right here, this is called White Dill on Me. And this is, they call it a false Queen Anne's lace because it looks like a Queen Anne's lace, but it's not actually. So there's pollinators all over it, which makes me so happy to see. You know, there'll be ladybugs on it, and there's bees all over it, and there's other bugs that I don't know what, I think hoverflies, I don't know. Anyway, pollinators love it, and it's a fabulous plant to cut and use in cut flower arrangements. If you cut them early, like if you cut some of the green ones, then you can have green in your flower arrangements, and then if you wait for the white ones, you can have the white. So it's just really fun. It's a beautiful umbel-shaped flower. Umbel meaning umbrella shape, which, I mean, I think that's the perfect way to describe that. This is my Gertrude Jekyll rose. She's doing really good. Let's see right here. Oh,
I can't believe the growth that this has put on.
I know, right? Isn't that beautiful? I mean, it's just such a classic pink color rose. Like this is the bubble gum of the roses, you know? It's just so beautiful. So this one is going to keep growing up and up and up. This thing right here, which I just think it's going to be gorgeous. Oh, I forgot to show you guys over here. Yeah. Robbie's distracting me. It's his fault.
My bad.
So back here around my greenhouse, I wanted to plant a ton of color. So of course, Supertunia Vista Bubblegum. It's doing its job. It's doing fantastic. I will admit, we have not hooked these up to drip yet. So we are hand watering these. You should see Robbie's face right now. I know.
They look really good for being
Don't they look good for being hand watered?
I can't believe you haven't hooked these up to drip.
We literally we're working on drip every single day. Like we spent a couple weeks where we just planted, and I was like, I'll get to drip, and I never got to drip. So,
well, they look great. You're spending so much time hand watering.
Yeah,
though.
I mean, so we're slowly working our way.
And notice the piping right next to her where she could just tap right in.
I mean, this is hooked up to drip.
Right there.
This one right here. It would take me 2 seconds. I know. It's just one of those things. I'll get to it.
I do the same thing.
It's just, you know how you have like all these like little things that you got to do? There's like 100 little things that would take 2 minutes.
Brent and I call ourselves the 90%ers because we get jobs 90% of the way done.
Yeah.
And they're like,
oh, I'm tired.
We'll get to it later.
Yeah.
And it doesn't happen.
The only reason I get most of my jobs done is because I'm filming them.
Same.
Otherwise, my garden would be a mess. So one of the things that I did this year is I planted a whole bunch of sunflowers all around the greenhouse. I didn't plant anywhere near enough because I lost some to animals. I lost some to
Mr. Dawn.
my dog, Mr. Dawn. Yeah, and so they're really beautiful. They're absolutely gorgeous, but I needed to plant so many more of them. Look at this
I think
one.
next time you do it, you should do like almost all branching sunflowers.
I agree. Yeah. I mean, like these are like incredible. They're
Hmm.
huge. They're massive. But
then they look like that.
Now it's done. Like I got to cut this one down. So Monty is relieving himself right behind you. Don't show it. Don't show it. Don't show
Monty!
it. I'm cutting that out. Just don't step on it.
I would cut that out also.
Okay, so this one is what Robbie and I were talking about. This is a single stem one. I don't know the name of it because I mixed them all together. But the single stem ones are beautiful. They're stunning. They're huge. But this is the only bloom I'm going to get from this sunflower, as opposed to a branching one, like over here, where the blooms aren't as big as the single stem ones. But you can see I already have gotten 4 off of this one, and it's pretty young. I'm going to get so many blooms off of this one sunflower. Same with this one. Robbie, come look at this one. There's a bee sleeping.
I love when you find sleeping bees.
Oh, I woke him up. I'm sorry, bud.
Hold on.
Isn't that cute?
Hi, little guy.
But look at that sunflower. Isn't that gorgeous?
Gorgeous color.
Right? And
it looks like the is it the Van Gogh mix?
No, this isn't Van Gogh mix. I think this was like the strawberry lemonade or something like that.
But this is also a branching one.
Yeah. So I'm going to have a lot of them there. So very fun. I love the sunflowers. I just went to Fanula's and I bought a whole bunch more sunflowers, so that'll be exciting.
Good for you.
Okay, so coming over this way, the greenhouse is right there, and we just kind of started walking over this way behind the office. I wanted to point out my Chinese pistache tree and how good it looks and how much I appreciate having the shade tree here during the hot summers. The Chinese pistache is, it is my favorite tree. They're planted all over my town, and the fall color on this tree is absolutely stunning. And when we bought this house, I didn't even realize that at first it was a Chinese pistache until a couple weeks later. And then once I realized that I had this big mature Chinese pistache tree, it was so exciting. So anyways, the reason why I'm pointing this out is I have the chicken coop there. I'll show you that in a little bit. But this whole area right here under the Chinese pistache, I'm really excited about because I have a lot of plans for what I want to do in this area because it's technically shade, but it's kind of like bright filtered light. So a lot of plants, shade plants like hydrangeas, are going to do really, really well over here in this garden bed. So my whole plan, I have a plan for kind of like a pathway and kind of fixing up the Vigo garden bed area and planting a whole bunch of beautiful shade plants underneath this tree, and I'm super excited about it. I don't know when I'm going to get to it because obviously I have a lot of other things still to do,
like hooking up drip.
Hook my bubble gums up to drip, but it's one of my plans. It's something that Jason and I we just had a powwow about it, and we're really excited. So I'm sure he's not going to let me start on it till we finished other things, but I just had to tell you guys, and you, Robbie. So over here is the chicken coop. My shade containers are doing really, really well. I have foxglove in it. I actually have a new frond, which is really exciting.
You have fox ferns, not foxglove?
Fox ferns, excuse me. Foxtail ferns.
Foxtail fern. We were both wrong.
We were both wrong, yeah. And then I have Brunnera, and I have Goldilocks creeping Jenny, and I have some sweet potato vine. And they're all doing really, really well, except for the spider webs.
What spider webs?
What spider webs? And then we have the chickens. Where are you girls? Hi, girls. They're so cute. Hi. Monty, don't scare them. Oh, Monty might scare them away. Monty's been so much better with them. I have found out what their favorite food is. It's watermelon. And you told me that, Robbie, to give them watermelon.
They love watermelon.
They are obsessed. And the only reason why they're still looking at me is because they think I'm going to bring them a piece of watermelon right now. Okay, the last thing I want to show you all, because I know Robbie and I are sweating right now.
It's definitely not over 100 degrees.
And we want to go inside. But I still want to show you my Vigo garden beds. I think that they're looking really good. I have onions that I need to harvest. Okay, let me show you what an amazing veggie gardener I am.
Mm-hmm.
You see?
Yeah, it's beautiful.
I mean, look how good I am.
I know. Who planted these again?
Janey.
Robbie? Robbie planted those?
What are you talking about? That never happened.
That never happened.
That's not on video. It never happened. Just kidding. Robbie planted my onions, but I took care of them. And then I have some tomatoes over here, which have been really, really interesting because the Chinese pistache tree shades these tomatoes in the afternoon. So they definitely get about 7 hours of sun, really hot, you know, afternoon sun, but then in the afternoon they get shade. And so I thought, oh, well, I'm not going to get any tomatoes. I'm just going to get a whole bunch of foliage. No, I'm getting tons of tomatoes. They're not ripe yet, but they're about to start ripening. And then I have these sweet 100s, and I've been eating them nonstop. So the shade's been fine.
I think that really helps in our area. I was talking to Bootstrap, and they've really suggested that we use shade cloth. And then I started talking to Chico State, some people there, and they suggested that we use shade cloth.
For what? Tomatoes?
Yeah.
What?
Because they stop producing when we get over 100 degrees.
And we're always over 100
And we're always over 100 degrees, so the shade cloth.
So maybe this is a good
So
place
it's
for
a
them.
really good place for them because you have that little bit of protection.
That's interesting. Okay, so one more spot.
A big spot that we totally forgot. The most
I forgot
impact.
the hanging baskets too.
Oh my gosh.
My favorite part.
This is a really great garden tour.
I'm doing horrible. You're distracting me. So I planted up all these pots in front of my office, and I wanted them to have so much color. And so, of course, I leaned heavily on supertunias. But I basically just mass planted a whole bunch of beautiful supertunias, even with some hanging baskets that I just literally plopped into these pots. So it took me no time at all to plant these up. It was super, super easy, and I got so much color, and you can see I have bumblebees everywhere, even now. Okay, last thing, I promise. So over here, these, I mean, my zigzag planter is my absolute favorite, but these are a close second, these hanging baskets. So this is mangave. It's called Catch a Wave. This is a mix between agave and manfreda, and they're not out until next year from Proven Winners, but keep your eye on them because they're just such a fun plant. It's a succulent type of plant that you can give more water, and they're like fine. They're like totally fine. They grow faster than agaves because they have that mix with the manfreda. And I just think that they're so cool looking, especially with this Diachondra Silver Falls hanging over the edge. So now there's no color on this hanging basket, I know. And when I planted these up, I had a lot of people say like, where's the color? And the wonderful thing about this basket is that it's so interesting even without the color. And I have to say, I look out the window at these and I just get so happy every time I'm looking out the window. I think I'm just going to be leaving these and let the Diachondra Silver Falls keep growing. They're perennials. They're going to be hanging baskets that I'm going to be able to have for Christmas. Like, how cool is that? I just think it's so neat. So these are such a fabulous addition to my garden. I'm really happy to have them, and I know it's something that maybe it's not everyone's cup of tea, but I'm obsessed with it. So anyway, that is going to be my June back garden tour as Monty is drinking out of the fountain. Good job, Monty. Perfect timing.
On par for the rest of this garden tour.
I cannot keep this fountain filled because it's his water bowl. Like, he has water. He has other water, but he likes this water. So anyway, I hope you all enjoyed this. Thank you to Robbie for filming it for me, and I hope you all have a chance to get in your garden today.